www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headline.
Welcome to Newsstream on Skyline. I am Moreno Haniel. President Bola Tinubu has directed the military, police, and other security agencies to intensify efforts to rescue victims abducted by criminals in Niger State. The president condemned the reported killings and abduction of innocent citizens, describing the development as unacceptable and a threat to safety of communities. He directed the security chief to ensure that victims are rescued and that those responsible for the attacks are brought to justice. Tinubu also reassured Nigerians that his administration will continue to strengthen security operations and protect citizens across the country. To Kano now, lawmakers in Kano have raised alarm over a diphtheria outbreak reportedly linked to deaths of more than 50 children in parts of the state. The development has prompted calls for urgent intervention by the state government and health authorities to prevent further spread of the disease. Diphtheria is a serious infectious disease that can particularly threaten children who are not adequately vaccinated. The lawmakers are urging intensified vaccination surveillance and treatment measures in affected communities to contain the outbreak. Still in other states, the federal government says it will engage the consortia and other stakeholders over the deplorable condition of Benin-Asaba Road. The route is an important transport corridor linking communities and commercial centers in the South and the Southeast regions. Motorists and transport operators have continued to raise concerns over the conditions of the road and its impact on movement and business activities. Government officials say the planned engagement is aimed at finding a lasting solution to the challenges affecting the road. The Edo State Security Corps has arrested 3 suspects allegedly involved in the theft of multi-million naira human hair in Benin City. The suspects are reportedly apprehended following an incident at a business premises in the state capital. The Security Corps says the suspects have been handed over to the police for further investigation and prosecution. The development highlights continuing efforts by security agencies in Edo to tackle robbery, theft, and other criminal activities across the state. Still on state matters, the Zamfara state government has inaugurated a committee on disarmament, demobilization, reintegration, peace, and security. The initiative is aimed at supporting efforts to restore peace in communities affected by banditry and other forms of violent crime. The committee is expected to work on measures that can support the integration of former combatants and strengthen community security. Authorities say the initiative is a part of wider efforts to address the root causes of insecurity and promote lasting peace in the state. Now we move to politics, where former Zamfara State Governor Abdulaziz Yari reportedly emerged as the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council for the 2027 election. Development comes as the ruling party begins to strengthen its political structure ahead of the next general elections. Yari is expected to play a key role in coordinating campaign activities and mobilizing support for the party. The appointment further signals the intensification of political preparation ahead of the 2027 presidential contest. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized President Bola Tinubu's removal of petrol subsidy, describing the policy as an economic fraud against Nigerians. Atiku has continued to challenge several aspects of Tinubu's administration's economic reform. His latest comments are expected to generate further debate as opposition figures intensify criticism of the federal government. The controversy comes as political parties and potential presidential candidates begin positioning themselves ahead of the 2027 elections. More stories after the break. Please do stay with us. April Tinubu Support Group has begun mobilization. It's mobilizing residents in the southeast in support of the president's expected 2027 re-election bid. The group, known as Relax Tinubu is Fixing Nigeria, has begun engaging communities as part of its political mobilization. The campaign is aimed at explaining the administration's policies and building support for the president ahead of the election. The development reflects the growing political activity across regions as parties and support groups prepare for 2027. The Ondo State Youth Forum has declared support for the president in bid for another term in office. The group also expressed support for mobilization efforts associated with the President 2027 campaign. Its position adds to the series of endorsements and political activities being recorded across different parts of the country. The development comes as politicians and political groups support intensify consultations ahead of the next presidential election. Former Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalong has raised concerns about possibility of increased corruption in political appointments if President Tinubu secures another term. Dalong made the claim while commenting on the political situation ahead of the 2027 election. His comments have added to the growing criticism and debate surrounding the administration and its political plans. The former minister's position is likely to generate further reactions from supporters and opponents of Tinubu's administration. From politics now, we move to business, where Nigeria's equities market has recorded a significant correction, with Nigeria's exchange losing about 5.42 trillion naira in market capitalization over a 20-day period. The decline comes after a strong run that had pushed valuations higher and attracted increased investor interest. Market participants have been locking in gains as investors reassess valuations and the outlook for listed companies. Despite the correction, analysts continue to monitor the market for signs of renewed buying interest and further opportunities. Furthermore, trading activities on the Nigerian exchange has remained strong, with Nigeria's stock deals reportedly reaching 11.98 trillion naira in the first 7 months of the year. The figure represents a major increase compared with the corresponding period in 2025. The growth reflects increased investor participation and heightened activity across equities markets. Analysts say sustained confidence and liquidity will be important to maintaining the momentum as the year progresses. Still on business, Nigeria's foreign reserves outlook is attracting renewed attention, with Nigerian Economic Summit Group projecting that reserves could reach about $53 billion. Improved reserves will provide stronger support for the country's external obligations and foreign exchange market. The projection comes amid efforts by authorities to improve dollar liquidity and strengthen confidence in the naira. Economists say higher reserve could also provide greater protection against external shocks affecting the Nigerian economy. From business now, we move to sports. Nigeria's Super Eagles will face Ghana in 2026 Beach Soccer Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The West African clash is expected to provide a major test for Nigeria as the team seeks qualification for the continental tournament. Nigeria has a strong history of African beach soccer. The qualification campaign will determine which teams progress to the final stage of the competition. More stories after the break. Please do stay with us. welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on the news. Still on sports. Nigeria remains among only the 3 nations to have participated in every edition of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. The record highlights the country's long-standing presence in the women's youth football at the international level. Nigeria's young female players have consistently provided a pipeline for senior national team. Football officials and supporters are hoping the last generation will remain the country's strongest record on the global stage. President of the Guild Sports Editors, Tony Ubani, has called for a comprehensive overhaul of the Nigerian Football Federation. The call comes amid renewed concerns over the administration and development of Nigerian football. Ubani's position adds to the growing calls from the stakeholders for stronger leadership, accountability, and better management of the country's football structures. The debate is expected to continue as Nigeria prepares for another important phase in its football development. The National Sports Commission has adopted the abandoned Uborodo Mini Stadium in Delta State. The facility was originally developed with FIFA funding, but was left incomplete and unused for years. The NSC says it plans to complete the project and restore the facility to sporting activities. The development is expected to improve sports infrastructure and provide young athletes in the area with a venue for training and competition. The new Nigeria Premier Football League season is scheduled to begin on August 28. The campaign will feature Nigeria's top flight clubs competing for league title and continental qualification places. Enugu Rangers entered the new season as champions, while newly promoted teams will be seeking to establish themselves in the top division. The new campaign is expected to attract strong interest from football supporters across the country. From sports, now we move to foreign news. U.S. President Donald Trump says the United States Navy has removed all detonated mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump also warned Iran against placing additional mines in the strategically important waterway. The strait remains crucial to global energy supplies, making development around the passage a major concern for international markets. The latest statement comes amid continuing tensions between Washington and Tehran and the wider uncertainty in the Middle East. Iran has insisted that the Strait of Hormuz remains closed despite developments involving an alternative route linked to Oman. The position comes amid continuing negotiations and military tensions involving Iran and the United States. The strait is one of the world's most important energy routes, with any prolonged disruptions capable of affecting global oil supplies. International attention remains focused on diplomatic efforts to prevent further escalation in the region. The Trump administration has announced a pause affecting visa appointments processing at the U.S. diplomatic missions around the world. The move is linked to a training initiative involving U.S. Embassy and consular personnel. The development could affect applicants waiting for appointments and those planning international travel to the United States. Applicants are expected to monitor announcements from individual U.S. missions for information on how the changes will affect their cases. More stories after the break. Please do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Still on the foreign scene, international efforts to secure a lasting ceasefire in Gaza continue as negotiations focus on security arrangements and future administration of the territory. A major issue remains the question of Hamas disarmament and the withdrawal of Israeli forces. The proposed arrangements have generated significant diplomatic activity involving the United States and regional partners. The humanitarian situation in Gaza continues to drive international pressure for a suitable political settlement. The United States has removed Syria from its list of state sponsors of terrorism. The decision represents a major shift in Washington's policy towards Damascus and could help reduce barriers to economic engagement. The move is expected to attract attention from investors and international institutions, considering Syria's economic recovery. It also marks a significant development in Syria's efforts to rebuild relations with international communities. From the foreign stories, now we move to entertainment, where Afrobeat star Davido has again generated online reactions following a social media exchange involving Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo. The singer publicly reacted to the post by the governor, triggering discussions among fans and social media users. Davido's large online following has made his public comment a frequent source of entertainment and social media conversations. The latest exchange has once again placed the singer at the center of online entertainment discussions. Nigerian film industry remains one of the country's greatest cultural exports, with Nollywood productions continue to reach audiences outside Africa. The industry is increasingly combining traditional cinema with streaming platforms to reach international viewers. Nigerian actors and filmmakers are also gaining greater visibility through international collaborations and global film projects. Stakeholders say continued investment in production quality, distribution, and intellectual property protection will be crucial to sustaining Nollywood's growth. American country music legend Dolly Parton has died at the age of 80. Her death was announced by her family on Tuesday, August 25, 2026. Parton's team said she died peacefully at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center in Nashville, surrounded by loved ones, after a brief battle with cancer. The singer, songwriter, actress, and philanthropist enjoyed a career spanning 7 decades, with global hits including Jolene, I Will Always Love You. She also built a major philanthropic legacy through initiatives such as Imagination Library. That's all we have on Skyline Stream this afternoon. Thank you for staying with us. I am Moreno Haniel, your anchor. Do have a very wonderful afternoon.